Hello, everyone. Welcome to Stock Talk Thursday. My name is David. I'm coming to you recorded once again because at this time when you're watching this, I'll be traveling one more time. We would still love for you to put in your comments and your questions. Still love to see those, even though this is not fully live. It is recorded. So again, it'll kind of mean some interesting things because I'm recording this on a Wednesday afternoon, evening after the market closed. And who knows what's going to happen in the few hours leading up to when this actually broadcasts tomorrow. So it might be kind of interesting. Let's take a look at the overall market, and then we'll go from there. I'm going to share my screen here. There you go. You guys are seeing now charts by Tradeway screen looking at the S&P. Let's break down what happened since last week. Let's see here. I recorded on this Wednesday, but you guys were seeing this candle right here. We got right up close to the 20% down level, which is what economists are going to define as the bear market. If you remember on this day right here, we got literally within, I think, 3 points and then bounced up from there. It's like they didn't want to go quite bear yet. But then it was Friday. I remember saying last week, there's a potential chance that either on Thursday or even Friday, we do break that 20% level. We did do that on Friday. Made it all the way down to about the 3,800 level. So broke it by a solid 50 points. But as you can see, then we shot right back up and we did not close below the 20%. So then probably depends on which economist you're talking to as far as are we in a bear market or not. But here at Tradeway, we like to just keep it simple, right? Look, we've got a high, we've got low, a lower high, lower lows. Went up a little bit there, but then again, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low again. We're making lower lows and lower highs. That signals a bear market to me, and we're right up at that 20% level. Very possible, again, that we may go below there or even close below there either on Thursday or on Friday. So that possibility is still there. Overall, this week, it's been a fairly quiet week as compared to some of these candlesticks, these towering candlesticks that you see here. Pretty quiet week so far this week. All right, let's take a look at what was hot last week and what was not. So last week we had Pioneer Natural. You can see that. Let's see, click that up. Pioneer Natural Resources Company. This was our hot stock. You can see the green fundamentals box. So that's always good to see. Lets you know that all the numbers behind the scenes are looking pretty good and still hot. Last week we were looking at it right around in this area right here. It had bounced down some, but it was still holding at the 10. Moving up again, approaching these all-time highs. Could almost throw a little line on here. Let's see if it can break that line. Maybe even by the time you guys are watching this, who knows? It'll be interesting. I challenge you, if you have Charts by Tradeway or maybe another charting platform, maybe watch this recording side by side so you can see what I'm looking at and then how that plays out in real life. That'd be pretty cool to do. So long story short, PXD, Pioneer, still strong and still hot in my book. Moving on to what was not hot. That was Kraft Heinz Company. Again, this was that interesting one where it was our hot stock. And then the very next week, it was our not hot stock. Came down here. Look at this. We had this line up on here, right? Pretty significant line. Resistance there, support there, resistance again. Came through here. That line did hold. I mean, it went below it a couple times, but came right back up and closed at or above that line. Since then, moved up a little bit. It's still going to be a not hot in my book because we're below the 10. Now, there's potential for this thing to move up and get hot again, but it's got a little ways to go. It's got to work off essentially this massive candlestick right here. So that's what's going to have to happen before I look at this thing as being hot again. So that was KHC. Let's go ahead and take a look at what is hot now. And I went through the whole process of going to the market up here and then going to the heat map and everything. You guys have seen that multiple times before. I'm just going to cut to the chase on this one and give it to you straight up. CTVA. That is going to be our hot stock. A couple things I want to point out on this that I found were kind of interesting. First of all, You guys know I like looking at that 5-day exponential moving average. And what is this stock doing? I mean, it was coming down a little bit there, and then it just bounced up off this 100 simple, and it's just been riding the 5 EMA up. Actually closed above the 5 EMA today. So that is pretty hot. Anything that is riding the 5, kind of like it did here. See, that was really hot. Look at that steep angle. That's a pretty hot stock right there. Now, we do have a couple things we need to look at. Look at this overhead potential resistance right there. That could hinder things, right? Before we would want to get into a trade, we want to see, can it go ahead and break that line right there? Can it get above that? Because right here, right now, we're not at a good buy point. We are at resistance. So I want to be careful with that. Let's look at a line at the 52. Let's drop the horizontal line right about 52. Check this out. Previous resistance right here. That was pretty strong. And what did it take to overcome that? A massive clear candlestick signaling, yes, we are serious about breaking this resistance line. And then comes back down and turns that into support, comes right to that line and bounces, happens to coincide right there with the 100 simple as well. So that was pretty cool to see. Let's look at fundamentals real quick. Again, I mentioned the green box earlier on the other one, same here. Green box on CTVA as well. And the last three, see, it went down a little bit, the earnings did. But then on the November 3rd, had a negative 14 cents. Then a couple earnings ago, they were back in the positive, 8 cents. And then this last one, 97 cents. So you got the potential there of a growth stock. It has been growing here. You can see the growth that it did make over, the last 6 months or so. That's a pretty solid growth in the last 6 months. We've got some statistics for you here. The last 2 weeks, just from here up to there, last 2 weeks, 20% growth. Since the summer, and actually even since about November, really, nearly a 50% growth from, this point right here to there where we are right now, 50% in the last 6 months. And of course, it's always fun to look at the COVID low. Check this out. It was down here at, right around $20 a share at a point. And so it's grown threefold since that point in time, about just over 2 years ago, threefold over 2 years. So that is definitely a hot stock. That's our hot stock for the week. Let's go ahead and take a look at what is not hot. And for that, we've got Royal Caribbean Group. Kind of makes sense, right? I mean, COVID's not completely gone. It's definitely less of an issue now than what it was, but not completely gone. But, the cruise ships, they took a big hit, and they're still kind of hurting. You can see the fundamentals is red on there. And what else we got here? So you see this drop right here. We've got a high of about 88 just about a month ago, down to, it was below 50 yesterday, and Tuesday, I guess I'd say. And on Wednesday, initially at least, it was below 50. So that's a 44% drop just in the last month. Let's drop a horizontal line that looks pretty important here at the $64 level, right about there. I want to expand this chart just a little bit here. Check this out, right? So we've got a bounce up off of that line, another bounce off that line, potentially support. It took a big candlestick. Again, that's a massive candlestick to the downside to break that line right there. Stock came back up right up to that line and bounced down. That's called a kiss goodbye, or KGB for short. Has nothing to do with the Russians. It's just, KGB is the acronym for kiss goodbye. So there you have it right there. That's a real pretty one, honestly. The break of support, move back up, turn that into resistance, bounce down, and away it goes. That was pretty sizable drop there. Again, just being pushed down by the 5 EMA for most of it. Same kind of thing. You get, you ride the 5 EMA up, that's going to be hot. That's going to be bullish. You get pushed down by the 5 EMA, that's not hot. That's going to be bearish. So there you have it. And of course, like I mentioned before, cruise lines are taking a pretty big hit. Let's look at this in the long term right here. So this is your COVID drop, right? This is going to look even more. This drop is even more significant than what most of the market did, and that's just because of the type of industry. I mean, cruise ships just got parked and left. They were up at 135 there, and then made it all the way down to about 20 there. I mean, that's huge. That's nasty. So look at this line. Got another line I can draw in right here. Kind of have this, not kind of a perfect line on it, but it got this zone right here that was support. And now, even since COVID's kind of died down a little bit here, this resistance is there. It can't get above that. We're going to see the same thing with airlines. Let's put in, let's just do a quick comparison here. Airlines, same thing. It was never able to really recover back to its previous there. That was United Airlines, American Airlines. Same thing. You see that line, that crosshair right there. Again, travel, tourism industry can't get to those pre-COVID levels. Delta Airlines, same thing, almost perfectly. See how these charts are starting to all look the same within that sector? Interestingly enough, but maybe not surprisingly, Southwest Airlines is the one that was able to recover. It was able to break that and go to some highs that were higher than right before the COVID drop. It has come down some since, but they're the ones that were able to break through that. But, we're not talking about those right now. We're talking about the Royal Caribbean Cruise Group. So here we are back at the 6-month chart. This is kind of home for me as far as how I look at charts. And, another interesting thing to point out, look at this. This is actually a growth stock by the definition of earnings getting better and better each time around. Look at this. $5.06 loss. They got a little bit better, only lost $4.91 the next time. Got a little better again, $4.78. And this last earnings, $4.57 loss. So since that loss is getting smaller, that's in a way, you're getting more profitable. I guess you could look at it that way over time. So it's actually a growth stock, but definitely not one that I would want to touch right now because the rest of the fundamentals are just not doing too well with how everything's going. And you see this green box right here. That might look good, but you got to look at the box, right? Because, all that means is that they beat out their estimate. So they estimated they're going to lose $4.68, and they only lost $4.57. So they beat out their estimate by 11 cents, but you're still losing $4.50 per share. That's huge. So RCL, definitely not hot. They're hurting quite a bit. So there you have it. That is our not hot stock for the week. All right, I'm going to stop the share there. There we go. Want to let you guys know about Workshop 1 being taught next weekend, Friday and Saturday. That's June 3rd and 4th. What is Workshop 1? Well, let's say you've gone through steps 1 through 4. You've learned all those strategies, but now you're really wanting to take that knowledge and how do I put this together as a professional trader would? How do I really want to trade credit spreads to give myself the best probability? What are different ways I can use debit spreads to increase my probability but still get a high ROI? So that is what Workshop 1 is all about. Feel free to email events@tradeway.com for more information. Or you can also go to tradeway.com and click on the virtual events button right there. And you can see all of our virtual events that are coming up, including the Workshop 1. So let us know if you want more information on that, and we can absolutely get that to you. That's going to wrap it up for this session of Stock Talk Thursday. Next week, I'm going to be coming to you live, so I'll be excited to be back with you again. I was going to say in person, but you know what I mean. Close enough. It'll be where we can communicate through comments, and I can answer some questions live there. Still throw your comments and questions in on this one if you have them. If I get a chance, I'll go ahead and look at those and respond to you. So thanks anyway. We'll see you guys next week.